Okay, John, thanks for this opportunity to talk about the health group. The health group was actually founded in 1978 as a consulting company that dealt mainly with Medicare profiling, and founded by Steve Clayton. I did some work with Steve as a consultant in several of the assignments I had prior to coming here. And in 1992, Steve and I decided to join together, and at that point the health group was incorporated. We had 4 employees, and we were mainly a consulting shop, not because we wanted to be one, but because there was no market for management services at that point, because hospitals were busy, as were for-profit corporations buying up physician practices with the idea that they were going to aggregate large numbers of doctors and make a lot of money. And that made no sense to us, because we had a fair understanding of physician economics. And as we all know, that strategy failed. And so that opened the door to get back into the management business. Unfortunately, in 1994, Steve became very sick and passed away. And I ended up being the sole proprietor of the health group, and at that point we still only had 3 or 4 employees, but we did land a nice management contract with Presbyterian hospitals, then to become Texas Health Resources, and we used that as a vehicle by which we entered the management business, having also independent clients as well. And we grew to the point where we had over 100 employees, and the purpose of the work we did as a management company was basically to provide physicians with the ability to give up the day-to-day management of their practices so that they could focus more on patient care. This enabled them to be more productive, and that, plus the benefits we brought in revenue cycle management, human resource management, accounting and finance, marketing, and some of the other areas that we work in for our clients, create value in excess of the cost, which is what we promised. We promised our clients that they would have overhead equivalent to or lower than what they could have done on their own.
I'm Matthew McNeely. I'm a partner at Lone Star MSO and Chief Marketing Officer for 99 Management.
So I got a dollar bill here in my pocket. I have one $1 bill in my pocket. Actually, I have two, and my lucky $2 bill. So if I were to tear this dollar bill and carve out 7 cents, that's how much of this money that we get to keep for our doctors. 93 cents goes to them, right? Sometimes it's 4%, so 4 cents. Sometimes it's 10 cents. But on average, it's about 7 cents of this dollar we get to keep. So how many 7-cent nickels does it take to make up your paycheck? A lot. So if I take a 7-cent stack and I keep stacking it, right, to get up to your paycheck, that's a whole lot of stacks, right? That's how we work.
We are diversified across multi-specialties. We've got divisions specific to anesthesia. We work with primary care, surgical specialties, and everybody in between.
My name is Tom Kinjarski. I'm an anesthesiologist, and a long time ago I decided that I didn't want to work for anybody anymore. I wanted to work with a bunch of people.
My name is Rick Milson. I'm a CRNA, Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist, and I own a large portion of Pulse Anesthesia Staffing, which is a CRNA staffing company. We started Pulse in August of 2012, and along with our sister company Noble Anesthesia, which is the doc side of the group, got together and been turning it up ever since.
The story goes as this. Many, many moons ago, Creighton and I were in residency at UT Southwestern, and this is Dr. Creighton Pickett. We were in residency together, and we met this character, Joel Shiroki, another anesthesiologist, and at some point we knew we met Rick, because Rick was an ICU nurse up there as well. That's Rick Milson, CRNA. We all kind of knew we wanted to be anesthesiologists, but weren't quite sure what was going to happen after that. Joel and I stayed on the downside of town and worked for a large group there and helped grow that. Creighton went over to Fort Worth and brought the liver transplant program over to Baylor All Saints. And then he joined a group that just exploded over on that side of town. Rick went to CRNA school, and then we all kind of found each other again after meeting in 1999. One of the things that we learned about, and you know, nobody gives you the manual about, you know, what you're going to be when you grow up and how you're going to manage your business and what you're going to do, is that we were working for a bunch of people where we learned the ways that we didn't want to do things. We learned who we didn't want to be, how we didn't want to sound, how we didn't want to treat people. There's still no manual out there about how to do it right. And therefore, we had to go out and write this story on our own. And with all of you. So we formed this anesthesia group called Noble.
In recent years, as reimbursement has continued to decline, the ability to create that value is diminished, and which also created difficulty for us in being able to grow. We were looking for a good value proposition, and we knew we needed to be larger to compete effectively in today's environment. So I began to put feelers out early in 2014 to see if there were folks out there that were like-minded that might be able to help us. Through a third party, I was introduced to Noble Partners, an anesthesiology firm. that was getting into the practice management business through the development of a multi-specialty group. As you're probably aware, IPAs are enjoined by the FTC from negotiating price. So they can't negotiate fees on behalf of their members. They have to take what they're given. To do otherwise would be an antitrust violation. The multi-specialty group allows physicians to practice under a common tax ID while retaining ownership of their practice. And this was a match made in heaven in the sense that here we have a company founded by physicians for physicians that has a mechanism available to it to make it safe for physicians to remain independent. So that physicians who don't want to be an employee of a for-profit corporation or who don't want to be an employee of a hospital can maintain their private practice, secure a beneficial foothold in the marketplace, and experience great value in excess of the price paid for management services, which is what we were all about originally. So I'm very excited about what Noble and 99 Management bring to the health group in terms of our ability to restore the product offering we once were able to make to our clients and to make those same benefits available to our existing clients.
The merger with the health group was very fortuitous. I think that we've been blessed to have a lot of relationships come along our way that are just blessings. We were in the process of, the way I understand it, we were in the process of moving our office, Pulse and Noble's office from Fort Worth over to the Dallas side of town, so we were looking for office space strictly to begin with. Then we were fortunate enough to meet David and got to know a little bit about the health group, and it seemed like a very good fit. They had some needs that we could help with, and we had some needs that THG could help with. So it was just a really cool little marriage, and came together. And not very long after that, we also came across Lone Star, and it seemed like a natural fit, and just kind of all started fitting together to where we could all work together and make some really cool things happen with a lot of synergy with THG and Lone Star. And now you're looking around and here we are. So pretty cool. It's going to be a good year for us.
The goal of 99 Management is to essentially offer physicians a pathway to remain independent, maximize their revenue, and do what they want to do without being employed or owned physician.
And then we knew we had something.
Practice management is the boots on the ground, hands-on day-to-day operations and oversight of a physician's practice. So revenue cycle management is the foundation of what we do. That's where a large part of our revenue is generated to keep the lights on and doors open and the physicians in practice. So ancillary services would be things like imaging, opportunities in toxicology and labs, human resources, transactional work, payroll, benefits, time management, that kind of thing, where we can employ the physician staff a lot of times and give them advantages and benefits related to their retirement, and just a lot more flexibility than they could otherwise.
Say, hey honey, how's it going?
Okay.
That wasn't too bad, was it?
No, no, no.
Do y'all have like a slogan or anything like that can maybe splice in?
Slogan. Sleep at the best.
All right.